Welcome back to the Ball Street Social Club. It's International Week, or what we're going to call it on this show, Pray for No Injuries Week. We've still got Jonathan Northcroft, we've got Peter Pedmapart from Toffee TV, and Steve Hall from the Reed Network as well. This has been a major concern of mine since basically for the entirety of my football supporting life, that international breaks come along and essentially ruin your season. Is this just limited to Liverpool?
I think it is, mate. That's what's going to be quite unique about this, is that there'll be a lot of fans, well, West Ham fans, out there who actually like international football. They love it. They love England, don't they, West Ham? They love England, West Ham fans. Yeah, we just don't really care, do we? I mean, my missus is the worst because she goes, "What can you watch England when it's full of them wankers?" And she's talking about yous, by the way.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
You know, maybe that's what I did, but yeah, I mean, it's a weird one, this, because Hodgson said these are actually going to be tougher games than the qualifying games were. So he's going to play all his best players, and that's why Vardy's not going to get a game.
Well, essentially, I mean, we'll come on to that in 2 seconds. But I mean, John, where do you stand on it? You know, as a proud Scot, do you obviously
on international football?
On international football,
giving it up. Playing the Isle of Man next.
He's having
a little mini tournament.
On the way in, though, we did break our crossbar, so just watch him.
But where do you stand on it? I mean, it is particularly friendly games. I mean, they are. I understand preparation for a tournament, but England in particular, they're 2 massive games. It's right in the middle of the season.
I know. And friendlies. I mean, I saw Real Madrid play Bayern Munich in a friendly this summer, and that should be the best night out of your life, no matter what they're playing for. And it was just dismal. It was dire. So yes, England are playing Spain and France, but it isn't going to be any better than if they were playing, you know, I was going to say Scotland, but as a self-hating Scot at the moment. But you know what I mean? It isn't that these games aren't going to be full bore or whatever.
No.
And you know, we as a press have to try and build them up, I suppose, because it's all we've got.
The press and ITV generally this scintillating game.
That's all they've got. That's all they've got.
A nice short block, so then they have to, you know, obviously go to a break. But we always, I mean, it's become for us what we're going to put in the paper week. You know, because you've got this whole week-long cycle where you've just got to talk about one game, and we're used to having, you know, maybe 20 games.
And it's when they wheel out whatever player they've decided to push in front who says it's because you can ignore when your club does that. Like those, you know, those interviews of like, are you really enjoying yourself? Are you fitting in at the club? Yeah, it's great. The manager's really good. Training's really hard, but I love it. And then, but when it's International Week, they get put out, and that's for the print media as well. It's as much as anything, you get these awful sanitised interviews, and that's all you've got to go off. It does my head in. And you've got it too. You've got a whole network to fill up with all this stuff.
Love international football. It's like no, it's gotten to the point where I just think just jib friendlies off.
Well, they are, aren't they? I mean, they are jibbing them off.
Just what's the point? When these qualifiers now, they play them Friday, Wednesday, whatever. Yeah. Just play one, and then play one in this week, and then play one in the next week. If you want to give the players a week off, so they could just play on Saturday, one game. So we're playing.
It's telly, isn't it?
That's the thing. Wembley doesn't pay for itself, does it? That's one.
No, American football does.
Yeah.
What they could do, and this was talked about last year when England played Scotland, but bring back home internationals, and then the old home internationals, like 50, 60 years ago, were played throughout a season. So it was November, March. They just fitted it in among the 1,000 games they played per season those days. But you know, if you did that, then every single international game that England ever played or Scotland ever played would actually mean something.
Well, that's a great point, because you're right in that, because it should be like England are testing themselves against Spain, they're testing against France. I don't give a toss either way, to be honest. But you're right. If there was, and I don't get behind, because I don't subscribe. You know, in Liverpool, I feel closer to the Scots than I do to the English a lot of the time. But you know, I don't get that national hatred stuff. But
it's the same syndrome. You'll learn more about a club player in a cup tie against a championship team than you would in a friendly against major opposition.
To be fair, though, I mean, it's not all about friendlies this weekend. You know, there are these there are qualifiers. We've got players at the qualifiers as well. So there are them as well. So the likes of the Irish team and that, they've got something to play for.
Okay, so what if Seamus, would he be playing? Coleman?
That's a random Irish name.
Yeah, just any Seamus.
There's one in the squad somewhere, isn't he?
Massive
Marty McFly, great granddad, yeah. But you know, going back to it, if he picks up an injury in this game, I guess, you know, because it's a proper competitive game, you can probably understand it to some extent. But for us, you know, let's
be fair, we're just praying Aid McGee to get an injury. We want him to get an injury. Darren Gibson, of course, will get an injury.
But if if Liverpool were to lose Nathaniel Clyne to injury in this break, because Roy Hodgson's decided he's got it to be ridiculous. And that's not beyond the realms of possibility, right? Because everything Roy Hodgson does is ridiculous, in a really boring, face rubby kind of way. But you know, that could not ruin Liverpool's season. But Liverpool have got a number of injury problems already. We've got no backup fullbacks whatsoever. Daniel Clyde picks up an injury. Thanks very much. Daniel Sturridge still hasn't recovered from this time last year, when he got injured on international duty.
When I saw your thing and I said...
Don't feel like I'm leading the conversation here anyway.
When you wrote on the thing, you know, pray there's no injury, I was thinking, all our players are injured anyway, so there's no one left. It wasn't Arsenal, like, well, there's no one left to get injured. But
I suppose we mentioned there with the Home Nations, this UEFA tournament is coming in, isn't it, in the next couple of years. And
What's
then... There you go. The host. It's basically a league. It's basically a
social.
League. It's basically a league of nations. It's going to be 5 leagues, and it's going to be. The first ones are going to be based on the ratings, and so the worst teams will be bottom, but they will have promotion and relegation, and every game will be competitive, and some of them games will go towards European qualifiers as well, qualifying straight through, and every game is going to be competitive. Essentially, that's what they're looking for. So there will be no friendlies soon.
Oh, actually, should have been enough friendlies, but they're just putting more physically demanding.
They'll bring it in
its place instead.
Essentially, what they're bringing in is the UEFA Champions League of Nations.
Wow. Okay, you know, it sounds interesting. I still won't watch it, but it sounds...
what essentially it is because now UEFA control the TV rights, and that's why we do have Thursday to Tuesday games. It means that they've got more centralised TV. More games go out rather than it be on random. They can sell the rights, and it will just be like the Champions League over nations.
It'd be interesting though to see if it actually works, because their track record of inventing competitions and then people buying in them isn't great, is it?
Yeah.
You know?
They track record on basically everything. It's very good, is it? Let's be honest.
It's going to be fascinating to see the Euros and how the expanded format, whether it actually makes any good, because my suspicion is, unless you're Welsh, the answer's no.
Wales would have got it anyway.
You reckon?
Qualifies?
No, but obviously I know they would have, but I mean in terms of like I don't know whether that gave an extra motivational kick to think that, hey, it's actually possible that we can do it, so let's
I don't know, the Euros used to be my favourite tournament. I used to like them more than the World Cup, because you'd get 16 teams, it'd be over in a couple of weeks, and most of the games, bar the odd couple, would be fairly competitive. You know, you got the 16th worst team in Europe, might be someone like Czech Republic or who are a decent side.
England.
Or England. We're now, I think, 24, is it?
Wow.
Is it?
I
think
that's how many teams it's going to be this time.
Yeah, so who's the 24th best team in Europe? It's
Iceland.
Yeah, you're right.
It kind of sanitises it, doesn't it? So I can see what the FA are doing with these big friendlies, because they're trying to, play Germany recently.
Well, to be fair, the amount of money they must have lost because England's qualifying group is the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. You know, the amount of times they've not come even close to selling out, they must think, bills to pay.
Still get the printout at 70,000 though, no matter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I've enjoyed the qualifiers actually though. I've really enjoyed, and I actually do like the format of Thursday to Tuesday. There's footy on every night. Yeah. There's always something there. You're not having to look through all the fixtures, and I do like the fact that Wales have qualified and Northern Ireland have qualified, and the likes of Iceland have qualified, because it almost automatically sets all these clubs.
It gives me an excuse to search out for Northern Irish and Welsh grandparents to give me an excuse to support those teams over England.
There's more random kits available as well. Yeah. But it gave all those teams a chance by saying you can go out there and do it, and hopefully that'll mean when it comes to the World Cup time and all that, Wales being a better place to qualify, and I think it just breaks it up a little bit.
With the Scots getting behind them.
Probably like the Irish if the
couch.
Iceland's close. Iceland's close.
Yeah.
And cold.
Whoever's sponsored by Buckfast.
Fair as that there. Yeah.
Great, so we'll wrap that up there. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, and check out the rest of the content on the Bull Street YouTube channel.